Alright guys, welcome to the video, and here today we are going to show you how to install the KMZ Ultra GTA mod for BLES version of GTA 01807, and this is designed only for that version. This works for KEX and DEX, or those there are some things here that are KEX specific or maybe DEX specific, but we'll be covering that later on. Also, make sure that you have, if you've had any other version of GTAs installed in your system, like a BLES version or BLES version, whatever, make sure that that's been completely removed. What you should have is your backed up version of GTA, and the data that is installed, that installs, when you install the game, should belong to BLES01807, which is right here. And then the update should be update version 1.27, and it should belong to BLES as well. And these are the only two you should have there. You can use your game from an external HDD. Just make sure it's the folder type backup. Some of the things here will not work though if you don't have it backed up to your internal HDD. So having it backed up internally is what's recommended. And make sure that you watch the whole video, guys. I know it's long, but there's a lot of stuff we're going to cover. Some of these things that we're doing here involve accessing your dev flash. So you need to be, you don't need to be too careful, but you need to pay attention. You're not going to be accessing the dev flash, but some of the things that will be, some of the files that will be placed will need to get access to the dev flash. So make sure you pay attention to everything. You shouldn't have any problems whatsoever, and everything should be smooth sailing as long as you just pay attention to the whole video. And I'll also be covering stuff to help you along. So I'm assuming that you have BLES01807 already installed either on your PS3 or externally. Make sure that you have the game data and the update that only belong to BLES01807 installed. And if you have any of my old GTA tools installed here on the XMB, make sure you go ahead and delete those now. And we're going to go ahead and get started. You can follow via FTP or using a multi-man, the file manager in like multi-man or Irisman or whatever. I'll be using the file manager that's actually in Managuns just to show you how to install this. So go ahead and unzip the zip file, take out the two folders that are there, place them on the root of your USB, place a USB in the PS3, and we'll go ahead and we'll continue. If you're FTPing, again, just follow along. Alright, so here we are at the file manager. I'm going to go into my USB, and here you'll notice that I have those two folders right there. You don't need to copy the instruction one, just these two. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and open up another window, and let's go to where the game is. Right there, and games. Make sure that your game is named exactly the way this is here. And by the way, changing the name just doesn't convert it over to BLES. You'll need to follow the instructions in that video we talked about earlier. Now when we go in here, you're going to notice that mine already has this PS3 extra folder. Yours should not. It shouldn't have it at all. You should only have these three here. This one, and this one. Okay? So those will be the three folders you have in your backed up game. We're going to move this over to the side. Let's go here. We're going to go into the BLES01807 install folder. And now we are going to copy and paste these three files right over here to our backed up game. So it's pretty easy. Let's just do this. Let's hit circle. You'll just hit copy, and then you'll come over here, and then you would just hit paste, and then whenever it says do you want to overwrite, just hit yes to everything, and that's pretty much it. All right, at least for that. So once that's done and it's copied everything, we are going to go back out to our to our dev HDD0 directory. We're going to scroll down to the TMP folder. We're going to go in there, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to go to the USB, go into the folder that says files that belong in the TMP, and we're going to go ahead and highlight these three. Now, there are some SPRX menus that require these files in order to work, like the Astacot, the Power 7 and Salfetti, they require this stuff to be in there to work properly. So again, you're just going to copy and paste all of that right here into your TMP folder. Now, once you're done there, you can just go ahead and quit, and I would suggest you reboot your PS3. If you're going to be using Webman to launch these games, then instead of rebooting your PS, just go into Webman, go into PS3 setup or Webman setup, click on refresh XML, which is a button up on top, and and then it's going to ask you to reboot the system, and then just reboot it that way. So that way you kill, two birds with one stone. So I'm going to go ahead and meet you back at the XMB. Okay, so here in Webman setup, I'm just going to show you real quick. When you go into it, you'll notice it's up here. It says refresh XML, and then you'll press it and just wait a little bit, and it'll ask you to reboot. And then you'll reboot that way. Once you've rebooted, you're going to go ahead and come here, or just use Multiman or Irisman or whatever to load up the game. You'll now see that it says KMZ Ultra version 3. Alright, and it should load up here in a second. And the first icon is what you will use to launch the game. The second icon is where the mods are at. Okay, so here's where we're going to spend quite a bit of time because there's a lot to cover. All right, so just be patient. Make sure you watch everything all the way through. All right, so here are your e-boots. You have the stock e-boot there. You have a modded e-boot here. That's for KEX only. And then the modded e-boot for DEX only. Make sure you install the correct one that is compatible with your system. Do not mix and match them. Don't put a DEX e-boot into a KEX console and vice versa. If you ever want to be back to plain Jane vanilla GTA, just install the stock e-boot and install this stock.rpf file, which we'll talk more about here in a little bit. Then there's the KMZ Ultra GTA tool. Go ahead and install this. This will install onto your XMB. This one is the bundled version because it comes bundled with these mods, these XMB mods. I have another version out there that's called the standalone version. That's for people who don't want to install these XMB mods, and it differs from this one. Since you've installed the XMB mods, go ahead and install this version here, and we'll talk about that one later. Then you have your mod loaders, and there's about 10 of them here. Mod loaders all pretty much work the same in that they have a modded, they work because they're a modded .rpf file. That's why you have this up here. If you ever want to use an XPRX menu by itself without a mod loader loading, you can just come here, install the stock RPF, and then just pick any SPRX menu you want. And here are the XPRX menus down here. We'll just call them Sprix menus from now on. And then you have the KEX and DEX versions, which work for both types of systems, and they're in a green box, meaning both can use them. The ones in the red box are for DEX only, so don't try and use a DEX menu on a KEX system. Also, if you notice, I've taken image captured every single menu, which took a long time, but this is to show you that not only was I able to get in the game, I was able to open up the menu, just in case people say, oh, this doesn't work or whatever. The proof is right here. The menus all were open, meaning I was able to get into the game and open up the menus. The other thing you need to know, and everything else here is self-explanatory. In case you never used this before, there's just covers here that change the cover in like Multiman, Webman. There's some themes here for like the tool and Rebug and stuff like that. So read these boxes down at the bottom. They give you some idea about what you're hovering over. And in these cases here, they just tell you like how to open up the menus and whatnot. So everything is pretty straightforward. You need to know one important thing though. SPRX menus, actually two things. SPRX menus can be used with mod loaders. So you can use a mod loader, load up whichever one you want. They work for both KEX and DEX. And then you can also use any SPRX menu you want. Okay, the mod loaders work differently. they're a different file, so they install right here from the XMB without you having to go anywhere. However, the SPRX menus and the eBoots require like a soft reboot to be done because your dev flash needs to be accessed in order for the files to get placed correctly. Now this is done for you, so you don't have to worry about it. Let me show you here. Let's go to a menu and let's pick a legendary. Okay, so we're going to pick that one. That's for Dex. I'm on a Dex system. And see, once you choose it, it's going to ask you, do you want to start the software now? You must always hit yes. Now, once you hit yes, you're brought back here to the XMB. The file has installed, and that's it. You're ready to go. Okay, now we can go back in here, and if you want to pick a mod loader, you can go ahead and pick a mod loader. None of these mod loaders, by the way, are textured mod loaders. They're just regular plain mod loaders. All right, so that's how it works. And the eBoots will ask the same thing. Always hit yes when you pick your eBoot. And again, the eBoots only need to be installed one time, right? And that's pretty much it. Only the Sprix menu, the eBoots will ask you that question and will require the soft reboot. Everything else does not. So that's pretty much how it works, right? It's pretty easy. Go ahead and let's go into the KMZ Ultra tool, the GTA tool. I'll meet you at the... Alright guys, so here we are at the main menu of the GTA tool, and basically this is kind of like a backup. All the SPRX menus that are on the XMB are all located here as well, so you have them here. I just put them here in case you you know, you're in this tool and you just want to load them from here. You can, instead of doing it from the XMB. Also, this is kind of like a backup in case if something happens with the XMB where you can't see the icons or you can't get it to come up or whatever, you can still load the menus from here. And then the eBoots are backed up in here as well. And then we already talked about the blues to BLES thing. Now here's something really important. The game icon wallpaper and the mods icon wallpaper, as well as the game icon music and mods icon music, what this simply means is that when you're hovering over the game icon, you can change the wallpaper that displays behind it. Same thing for the mods icon. You can change the wallpaper that displays on the XMB when you're hovering over the mods icon. And you can change the music that's played when you're hovering over each icon as well. The important thing to know here is that in order for this to work, your game must be backed up. It needs to be the folder type backup, and it needs to be installed on your internal hard drive, not external. If you're playing this game from an external hard drive, never, I repeat, never pick anything that says wallpaper or music, because it's going to look, well, it's not going to look for it. It's going to place the file on your internal hard drive. And then what's going to happen is that your PS3 is now going to think you have another copy of GTA on your internal hard drive, and you also have one on your external hard drive, and it's going to cause a problem. So if it's external, if you have it backed up externally, never use anything that says wallpaper or music. If you have it backed up internally, then make sure that the game, the folder of the game, is named exactly the way I'm going to show you on the screen. So hopefully you guys will get, you know, a lot of enjoyment out of all this stuff. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.